This is Tuesday, August 16th, as we are going to finish our notebook and then get into our small world project and then continue on from there. Let's see, we picked up the handout, which was the small world project, and as soon as kids got it, what did you guys do with the handout? Playing my game. Notebook, pictures of you. If you don't have the 5 pictures of you, you're going to have them by tomorrow, but it did cost you B points, and it does cost you a point off the grade. If you don't have the pictures by tomorrow, then I get to choose the pictures for you, and then I will pick whatever pictures I want to put on your little poster, and those will be the ones you're going to have to love and explain forever and ever. If you're wanting me to print your pictures, focus. Those are the directions to help you do that. Note from a parent. If not, then I get to charge you B points for me doing it for you. I will not take the separate pictures. Make sure you combine them together into some kind of wonderful combining pic collage app. Then I will print that one picture file total. Make sure you put your name in the collage. It makes it much easier for me to figure out which kid it's supposed to go to. So find someone to hopefully write over it if you can. And then the last one, there's my email address for you to send it to. There's an example of what I'm looking for you to do. Excuse me, it should look something along those lines where it has all of your pictures. I can print it on a little half-page piece of paper, and then you'll be good to go and golden. Back to your notebook. With your notebook, let's continue on from there. We set up the outside of it. Once again, did anyone need the marker for me to finish the outside of your notebook, just to make sure? Today will be the last day. I asked that question before we move on. We got to the inside front cover, put the gigantic X on that front cover part of it, and then from there, so we saw it, easier for you guys to see. We filled in the table of contents, did that part. How many table of contents did we do? 3. After our table of contents pages, we have our idiot overrun pages, and how do we know they're our idiot overrun pages? What do we put on those pages? X's. Do not X out the whole page, just put little X's in the bottom corners. And then I had you number the pages, and how far did you number them? 30. Nice, so then up to page 30. And then on pages 1 through 10, on all of the odd numbers, what letter did you write at the top? H. And all the even numbers? B. Because H stands for? Homework. B stands for? Bell work. What a fun game. And then we did that. Back to our first bell work entry. And then the first thing we do is put the date, which I changed that to today's date just to make us travel through time. And so you'll go ahead, and when you put this entry into your notebook, we'll have you guys go ahead and open your notebook and play along. Even though you guys are more special than my other classes, just pretend you're not as special as you think you are. When on which side is the bell work side? Left or right? Right. And so we put the date up there. For you guys, it was August 15th because you did this yesterday. Because you were like my only special class. Don't put another entry in there. You already have this entry. Just write over it or pretend to if you want to. And then number. What number entry is this? 1. What do we call this entry? A joke. So we just call it a joke. And put the page. So what was our first available page number? 2. And we turn to page 2. And then we have page 2 there, has the B at the top, page 1 over there, has the H at the top. We're going to put the first thing that goes in the top left-hand corner is? Date. The date. So now you're looking at page 2, and you put the date in the top left-hand corner. And then in the top middle, what do we write? The title. And what was the title? A joke. Then you don't have to write the directions because the directions are always on my website. All you have to do is actually follow whatever the directions are. So I'm going to have you then write in whatever your joke would be. Make sure that you include the punchline. I'm going to come around and check in a moment to make sure that you have a joke there. So you are going to write a joke of some kind. Whether it is my wonderful jokes of yesterday that were so high quality they brought a tear to your eye. If you can't think of any joke whatsoever, and you go, Mr. Brovicast, I've never laughed in my lifetime, I am not sure what this humor thing is, then you can just write down, a man walks into a bar, the second man ducks, and you're good to go. Or you can use my youngest daughter's favorite joke from when she was younger, when she was still trying to figure out how jokes work, and I was telling her I was doing this thing, and she goes, Daddy, I have a joke. I go, what's up, Jenna? And she goes, here's my joke. I go, okay, what is it? She goes, Daddy, there's a fish. And she just started laughing. I go, I don't understand. She goes, there's not a fish. And she thought that was the best joke in the world. So you can write that down for your joke because she thought that was hilarious. And you can just put, Daddy, look, there's a fish. and that will be the most classic joke you can ever do. You've got 10 seconds to write a joke. For those of you who are still staring at me doing the blinky blinky thing, because I'm going to come around and check and try to motivate those of you who have not figured out how to write a joke. We also have a knock-knock joke, if that would help for you. For those of you who are more for entering people's houses. Let's go with knock-knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting
Boo.
cow.
See?
I was gonna say how about it?
Classic. Alright. That's a classic. It's a good one. It's gonna live forever. What I'm looking for is the B at the top, the date at the left, the title in the middle, and then a joke somewhere in the middle. Someday we'll introduce you to humor boy. It's okay. Nicely done. Don't forget the date and time. Yes. Yay. 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 More yay. So much yay. Almost yay. You're going to have to erase all of this because you didn't actually turn to page 2. All of your writing goes on page 2. Okay, so go ahead and erase that and put it on page 2. Which is why I come around and check to make sure. Better to have me catch it now than later. Still gets me every time. Alright, so then, now, congratulations, you figured out how a bell work will be. Normally, we'll do another one probably coming up this week, beginning of next week. You'll come in, and you'll have to sort of set this up yourselves. I'll have the date and the title, and you'll have to write it up there, and we'll put a screen up that has the directions. You won't have to actually write the directions out, you'll just follow whatever it says. It'll say something like, a story, and you have to write a story that uses certain words, or something like that, and whatever creativity thing we go for from there. Turn back to that first table of contents, the one that says a joke on the right-hand side. That's like your very first set of pages. Make sure you're in the correct table of contents because it should already have an entry on one side. We're now going to give you all homework that's going to go on the left side. But again, this homework should not be horribly challenging. The date. The first thing you're going to write down, what is the date I'm assigning it?
16.
Nice one. So you write down August 16th, Ocho 16, something like that. For the number, well, this is your first bell work. So what number do we give it?
1.
There you go. You've mastered the fine art of counting. But Mr. Koviak, we already used the number 1. We did for the bell work, but there's 2 separate numbers. We're going to count the bell works, then we count the homework. It makes life much simpler. For the title, you're going to call it class names. What is our first available page number for homework?
1.
Just like that. Once you've done it, and you've written the 1 in there, leave it so I can come around, give you a quick poke check. There you go. You just wanted me to poke you. Go get it, silly child. Don't rewrite everything. Yay. 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 Are you yayificating them?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Did you get your joke on page 2? You did. That was a classic too. It's not even a big head.
For today.
There you go. Keep them grounded. Then turn to page 1, which you'll know is the correct page, because you're going to have a joke over on the right-hand side. When you look at it, you're going to go, oh, that's a classic, and it's going to make you giggle already. The first thing we write in that top left-hand corner is, go you, the date. And you go across in the middle and you write,
Title.
for this, For the homework, sometimes you do want to write a little bit of the directions just to help you out. I would not write all of the directions because there's going to be a lot up there. Here's what it says. You are going to write the name of every kid in this class. You're just going to go through, write their name. Either their first name or their last name. Either one is fine with me. It is up to you. But you also have to write down Ms. Riddle's name, and you also have to write down my name. Which means you're going to have a total of 29 names listed there. You have to number them. So make sure you number all 29. If there's no numbers, then I have to be mean to you. So number 1 through 29. The order that you do it does not matter to me. But you want to do it in some order that you can then figure out and make it easier on you. Banana sticker. When does it come due? How would you know?
Because it says it right there.
Right, it says it right in front of you, so it comes due Monday. To help you out, I will be going over the names multiple times today, tomorrow, this week, and as long as you just keep this open, you just write them down as I go over the names. It should be as simple as that. That's all you're going to have to do. Right now, what you should be doing is numbering 1 through 29, because eventually you're going to have to be writing names in there. You should automatically get 2 of the 29 names. 1 is you. It's on the front of your notebook. Close your notebook, look at the name on there, cheat. The other one of the 29 is mine. It's written right over there. So that should give you 2 already. Then, as I go through and do the names, you'll just continue to sort of write them down. What'll become tough is for those of you who don't actually do them in any kind of order, and you just do it all random, you're going to get down to like 26 names and go, I have 3 names left. I'll go, which 3? And you go, I have no idea. Really hard for me to help you then. What you may not do is just point to a kid and say, what's your name? That's cheating. You can sort of figure it out from there. So as an example, I will run through and do names here in a moment to try and give you an example one before we move on. So I have Alex, Alexander, Ben, Blake, Dawson, Emily, Emma, Harmony, who is not with us currently, Ian E, Ian R, Isaac, Jacob, Janae, Catherine, Landon, Logan, Louise, Morgan, Nathan, Olivia, Owen, Peyton, Piper, Rachel, Sadie, Savannah, Todd. Just like that. And here's where you can just sort of keep it open as we go on to the next thing, and you can keep on just writing down as you figure them out. Excuse me. Then, let's see, to that, we'll come to it. Your piece of paper you have. We're going to go through and explain that. You're going to have to multitask, which means do 2 friggin' things at one time. Because that piece of paper that you have, I'm going to go through and explain what it is you are doing for this. What you're going to do is for our next project, our first project, the first big thing you're going to do that's going to get you points, is 2 parts. 1, you brought in pictures that you are going to use to create a poster that looks like this, that's going to go out in the hallway for everybody to see. It is going to have a picture of you somewhere in the middle. It's going to have your name on it. It's going to have words that describe you. And it's going to have a whole bunch of pictures that you bring in that tell everybody how awesome you are. That's one part of the project. For those of you at home, looks like that. The other part of the project is, in this group of 4 people, you are going to pick one of those people, and you are going to interview them. And then, you are going to give a speech to the class about that person, and you are going to tell us all about them. It's similar to the idea where you get to stand up in class and talk about yourself. I like ponies, and my favorite class is math, and one time I broke my arm falling off a cliff. And you're going to, instead of you talking about yourself, you're going to talk about someone else, because that just makes life more fun for the rest of us. So you're going to have to interview another person and go through and find out information about them.
Well, what kind of stuff do we have to find out?
Good question, which is why you have this piece of paper right here to help you out. I'm going to go through the side that has all the words on it, so not the side that you put your name on, but the side that has all the words on it. First off, on the part where it says items for the poster, there's this part, which says you're going to put your name on there, simple enough. In your group of 4 people, which you'll get today, you are going to have to find 2 things your entire group has in common, whatever it might be. It has to be something no other group could claim. As in, you can't say, we all have hair, or we're all not dead. So it has to be something where we all have younger sisters, or we've all been to Ohio. Something that actually requires you guys to think and talk.
But what if there is another group that all has sisters and has been to Ohio?
That's okay, because there's a chance they can't claim it. There's not a chance another group can claim,
Hey, we're not all alive.
because that would be a lie. So you at least have to come up with something. So come up with your things in common. And, let's see, finding a group of pictures, you guys did that, that was due today. Picture the entire group, I will take care of that for you. 5 adjectives, those are describe-y words. So you're going to come up with 5 words that describe you. Tall, short, smart, dumb, confused, whatever your 5 words might be. And then you're going to put those on the poster. That's the easy part. Then you are going to find one person in your group that you want to interview. Whichever person you think is the least scary. You're going to be into a random group of 4 people, and all 3 of the people are going to look at you and you're going to go,
Oh, you're all kind of scary. Eeny, meeny, miny, not scary.
and you pick that person, and that's the one that you're going to interview. And you're going to ask them questions, and they're going to ask you questions. Here's what I need to know from you. And this is where it says, here, where it says for your speech. I'm just going through that to give you a quick explanation for it. Their full name. I want to know their first name, middle name, last name. You're going to write down full name, first name, middle name, last name. Now here's a couple of things for you.
Mr. Broviak, I hate my middle name. It's really embarrassing.
Guess what? We don't know it. Make it up. We'll have no idea. If your name is Joey Susan Jones, you're like,
I don't want to have the middle name Susan.
change it. Now your name is Joey Superman Jones. I can care less. I have no idea what your middle name is. Neither does anyone else. You make it whatever you want it to be. So you have to come up with your middle name. The only difference is some cultures don't have a middle name. You're like,
My name is Joe Jones, and my parents hate middle names.
that's fine. But you're going to have to tell us that when you introduce them. You have to go, this is Joe Jones. He has no middle name. If you don't, I charge you points for not giving me the correct information. So you're going to have to come up with their first name, middle name, last name. You don't like your name? Make it up. We'll have no idea. Next, where they were born, city and state. For many of you, it's probably going to be Indianapolis or Noblesville, because those are the 2 closest ones. If you put Fishers, Fishers, I get to charge you points, because there is a hospital in Fishers, but it's only been around for 5 years. So unless you're a super genius baby, you were not born in Fishers. So you had to be born somewhere else, unless you're a super genius baby, and then we get to talk, because that's a whole different game. If you don't know where you were born, go home and talk to the big people in your house. Be like,
Mommy, Daddy, where did I come from?
be careful. That's a whole nother conversation. So you might want to ask them, where was I born? Get a bit more specific. Or, let's say, they go, I don't know. You're like, what? I don't know. In that case, you get to make it up. Because guess what? I wasn't there. I have no idea. If I was there, it'd be incredibly creepy. So you just go ahead and make up wherever you want to be born.
I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, because I love the Patriots, because I got dropped on my head as a baby.
That's fine. So you come up with whatever you want, and so as long as you come up with some answer. The only thing you can't come up with is,
I don't know.
ooh, how about this? The person you're interviewing, they refuse to answer. You go, where were you born? They go, I don't know. You will make something up. I'm not going to do that. If the person you're interviewing refuses to answer your question, they give you full permission to make up any answer you want. If they won't answer, you get to make it up. And you go, where were you born? They go, I don't know.
Oh, you were born in a pond out behind a farm in Texas.
And you just go ahead and write that down. They go, no, I wasn't. You're like, well, then you shouldn't have been lazy. Because if you're lazy, I have no pity for you whatsoever. So you get to make it up. See, what their birth date is. So just tell us when they were born. And so we'll say if we have any birthday buddies in here.
I was born January 32nd. I was born January 32nd.
And then you guys can high five and go,
That doesn't exist.
you'll be good to go. Your favorite subject at school so far. You may not choose none, lunch, or passing periods. If a teacher cannot fail you in it, you can't choose it. So pick your favorite one. If the person you're interviewing refuses to give an answer, what do you get to do? There you go. You get to come up with whatever your class.
Your favorite class is Jedi training.
I'm not taking that class. Sucks to be you. And then you get to come up with whatever you want. Because once again, if they're lazy, no pay. Let's see. Favorite subject. 2 hobbies. Things you do for fun. Hopefully everyone has some kind of hobby, the thing that you enjoy. Whether it's,
I like to chase ducks around and try to poke them with a stick.
well, you probably need therapy, but that's okay. Whatever you're, no, I did that yesterday. Then once again, that's where the therapy comes in. So you're going to figure out whatever your hobbies are. Find them out, write them down. If you don't know what your hobbies are, 1, that's scary. 2, take a chair, go home, sit in the chair, face a blank wall. At some point, you're going to go,
Oh, I wish I was doing.
whatever it is you come up with, that's your hobby. You're like,
Oh, I wish I was watching paint dry.
that's your hobby. So you're going to come up with 2 hobbies.
Mr. Boviak, the person I'm interviewing refuses to come up with hobbies.
Yep, they're a loser. What should you come up with instead?
Like something random.
Yep, you make up a random thing, whatever you want it to be. If they didn't want that, they shouldn't have been lazy. Do you have a question, Landon?
Oh, Minecraft, can we do that for a hobby?
Absolutely. That's what you do to entertain yourself. 1 interesting fact about themselves they think the class should know. So whatever you want your interesting thing to be. Now, this is one of the big areas where kids go,
There's nothing interesting about me.
if there's nothing interesting about you, what can you do?
Make something up.
When you were 4 years old, you got abducted by aliens, and you spent 3 days on the mothership before getting rejected because they thought you were too weird, and that's why you're the way you are today. They're like,
Oh, really? Yeah, that's pretty much true.
we have no idea, so you get to make up whatever your thing is. If the person interviewing you, or the person, and they refuse to come up with something, you get to make it up. It's completely up to you. The other issue is, kids are like,
Is this interesting?
it's your opinion. If your thing of interest is,
When I was born, I had 10 fingers.
yep, that's fascinating. So we get to figure out what you think interesting is. You're like,
Yeah, that's not so interesting.
but that's your opinion. However strange it might be. We'll do the interesting fact. Tell us what the other person's pictures are. So you're going to have to explain their picture. Not explain, just tell us they...
They have a monster truck, and they have a picture of a penguin, and they have a picture of a platypus wearing the hat.
And so we call him Perry. And so you're going to come up with the different, tell us what their pictures are, and then tell us what their words are going to be.
Their words are,
Smart, helpful, creative, sleepy, and joyful. So you're going to just tell us whatever those words are. Then, here's the part on there where it says choose any 2. I recommend putting a star there and put directions. Because this is the part where I get to find out what kids follow directions. This is the area that most kids lose points. Because most of y'all can't follow directions.
that's not true, Mr. Broviak.
Yes, it is. I saw your yellow sheets. Choose any 2 of your favorites. You're going to have to pick 2 things from that list. Not just random favorites. It has to be 2 different things. What's your favorite movie, or food, or TV show, or book, or color, or game?
Can I pick 2 games?
Only if you want me to charge you points. Pick a food and a game.
Ooh, can I pick my favorite animal?
Is it on the list?
No.
That's called not following directions. So you're going to pick 2 things from there. Then the bottom part, it says also choose any 2 of the following things that connect to your name that are going to help us remember your name. 1, interesting history of your name. Some of you, your parents have a reason why they named you what they did, and there's a history behind it. Others of you don't have a history. For my first name, it was my father's best friend who died in a car wreck right before I was born. So I was named as a way to honor his friend forever and ever. So that's how I got my name. For you, your parents might be like,
I don't know. I just blinked and there it was. And so you've been Bobby ever since.
so who knows? If you're like, I don't have an interesting reason, don't choose that one. That's why you have choices of these. Your first and last name in Pig Latin. Some of you, if you don't know what Pig Latin is, I'll teach it to you tomorrow. If you do know what Pig Latin is, go you. You're smart. What animal they would be and why, and it has to connect with a letter from their name. So you don't just choose a random animal, pick an animal that goes with their name. So their name is Robert. You can say Robert wants to be a rabbit because he wants to be fuzzy and he wants to poop chocolate eggs, or whatever it is rabbits do. But you can't say, this is Robert and he wants to be a sloth. That's it. Because good job, you followed none of the directions. You didn't tell me why, and it didn't connect to the name.
What? You want me to follow directions? Crazy in this class.
And the last one is an alliteration where you have to have them up with multiple words that all start with the same letter. It does not have to be true, it's just showing if you can think. Louis loves to lick lollipops and licorice. Maybe Louis has never seen the lollipop or tasted licorice, that's fine. You just have to have at least 5 words all starting with the same letter. My goal with this is a couple things. One, you're going to get a chance to talk and interview another person, so I get to see how well you can do that. 2, you're going to be giving a speech in my room, where you're going to be standing in front of the room and talking. It won't be until probably Friday is when we're going to begin doing these. Also, how well do you get to work in a group with the project? And so we're going to see how well you get to do all of those different things. Questions about any of that I've not covered with you? Yay! In a moment, I'm going to be giving you your group, and you're going to be writing it down. But first, let me go through and do the names again to make sure they're still sitting in my brain. If you're still missing names, I'll give you a chance to write a few more of them down. I'll do names again tomorrow. As I go through and do groups, I'll be doing more names, so the more you pay attention, the more names you get. The name thing is worth a grade, if that helps you out. Alright, so it gives me itchy eyeball. Alex, Alexander, Ben, Blake, Dawson, Emily, Emma, Harmony still exists, Ian E, Ian R, Isaac, Jacob, Janae, Catherine, Landon, Logan, Luis, Morgan, Nathan, Olivia, Owen, Peyton, Piper, Rachel, Sadie, Savannah, Ty. Let's see, going across, Ty, Piper, Nathan, Olivia, Rachel, Morgan, Peyton, Savannah. Those of you who are at home, this is probably not helping you because you have different kids in your class. Unless you're Harmony, then we miss you, you're dead. Sadie, Owen, Louise, oh yeah, Mrs. Riddle, me. Going across here. Ian R, Emma, Blake, Alex, Alexander, Dawson, Harmony, Isaac, Catherine, Landon, Jacob, Ian E, Emily, Ben, Logan, and Janae. Yay. Then, in your table of contents, if you don't have all the names, you'll still have a chance. Turn to that very first one. We're going to put an entry into it on the homework side. Use today's date. And you're going to call it number 2. And you're going to call it Small World Notes. So this should be in your table of contents. The very first table of contents. And then what would be the first page number we can use?
3.
Is correct. Then leave it there for a moment. I'm going to come around and double check to make sure that you put these in the correct spots too. I've learned the more times I check, the better off we are. Beatings begin now. You did. Go good. All right. Not that one. Not that one. Stop making me hit you. There you go. Now you're good to go. There. Table time. You already worked in it, I know. You're so awesome. There you go. You make everybody just jealous. You are awesome. Oh, you. And we have one. turn to page 30. Well, not 30, there is page 30. Page 3. What's the first thing you write in the top left-hand corner?
Name,
Go you. And then in the top middle,
title.
make sure you're on page 3. What you're going to do on this page is write down all the answers in your interview. So as you go through and talk to this other person, this is where you write down the answers to those questions. So don't write them on here, write them in your notebook. You just go through and just write as you go through and ask them. Yes.
Can we use this and then write it on here? Can we use the piece of paper?
Yeah, well, use this to ask the questions and then write the answers on a piece of paper.
I was gonna.
Oh, if you want to write it twice, that's fine with me. As long as it gets into your notebook, because that's where I'll be grading it, if that makes sense to you. Alright, and at the top of this page, you are going to be writing a number. Because I'm going to give you your group. Those of you who are at home, this is where we end the home show. I'll be giving the groups, and then we're going to begin the actual working and all the fun talky stuff from there. Burpity.